Welcome to Crime Never Forgiven, the podcast where we uncover the hidden crimes behind the headlines. We don't just report the news, we investigate the truth, trace the motives, and follow the data, wherever it leads. I'm your host, and today's story is not about a robbery or a murder. This time, the crime is digital. The weapon, an app, and the battlefield? National security. In the early 2010s, a little-known Chinese company called ByteDance launched an app that would soon take the world by storm: TikTok. It wasn't the first short video platform, but it was the fastest to go viral, especially among Gen Z. With its addictive algorithm, lip-syncing filters, and easy-to-use interface, TikTok exploded across India like wildfire. By 2020, TikTok had over 200 million active users in India alone, making it the largest market for the app outside of China. It became a cultural phenomenon. Kids were dancing, influencers were born overnight, and brands started investing millions in TikTok campaigns. But while India danced, Beijing watched, and some say listened. As early as 2019, cybersecurity experts in India began raising alarms. They pointed out that TikTok's data policies allowed user information, including location, device specs, and even behavioral patterns, to be stored on servers located in China. Now, if you're thinking, so what? Big deal, right? Well, here's the catch. India doesn't have a comprehensive data protection law, at least not until recently. So when a foreign-owned app collects massive amounts of personal data from millions of Indians, there's no real legal framework to ensure that data isn't misused. Experts warn that this could pose a serious national security threat. Could this data be used for surveillance? Could it be weaponized in cyber warfare? Could it be sold or shared with the Chinese government? These weren't just conspiracy theories. They were legitimate concerns raised by intelligence agencies and lawmakers alike. Then came June 2020, a tense moment in Indo-China relations. Just weeks after the Galwan Valley clash, where Indian and Chinese troops engaged in a deadly border confrontation, the Indian government dropped a bombshell. On June 29, 2020, the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology issued a notification banning 59 Chinese apps, including TikTok, Hilo, UC Browser, ShareIt, and many others. The reason? Emergency measures to safeguard the sovereignty and integrity of India. More specifically, the government accused these apps of engaging in activities prejudicial to the sovereignty and integrity of India, defense of India, security of the state, and public order. In simpler terms, they were spying on Indians. The government claimed that these apps were collecting and transmitting user data to servers outside India, potentially compromising national security. This wasn't just a slap on the wrist. It was a full-on digital eviction notice. The ban sent shockwaves through the tech world. Overnight, TikTok, which had become a household name, vanished from app stores. Users couldn't access their accounts. Creators lost their platforms. Businesses lost marketing channels. Some estimates suggest that TikTok had contributed over $1 billion annually to India's digital economy. There were protests, petitions, even a hashtag campaign, Save TikTok India, trended for days, but the government held firm. And then something interesting happened. Other countries started watching closely. The US, Australia, and even the EU began reviewing their own policies on Chinese tech companies. The US even attempted its own TikTok ban under the Trump administration, though it was later overturned in court. India had set a precedent. A powerful message was being sent. Your data belongs to us, not you. TikTok didn't take the ban lying down. In fact, the company filed a petition in the Delhi High Court, challenging the ban as arbitrary and unconstitutional. They argued that they had taken steps to secure Indian data, including plans to invest $1 billion in local infrastructure and hire thousands of Indians. But the Indian government stood its ground. In response, they presented classified evidence to the court, evidence that, due to national security reasons, could not be disclosed publicly. This created a dilemma for the judiciary. How do you balance transparency and accountability with the need for secrecy in matters of national security? The case dragged on for years. Finally, in 2023, the Supreme Court dismissed TikTok's petition, upholding the government's decision. The ban was here to stay. With TikTok gone, a void opened up in the short video space. Enter homegrown alternatives. Apps like MX Takatak, Chingari, Mitron, and Raposo surged in popularity. Some succeeded, others failed. But the message was clear: India was serious about building its own digital ecosystem. The ban also accelerated work on India's long-pending Data Protection Bill, which finally passed in 2023 under the name the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, DPDPA, 2023. This new law gave the government sweeping powers to regulate cross-border data flows, penalize misuse of personal information, and hold foreign companies accountable. It was a major win for privacy advocates and a wake-up call for global tech giants. Still, questions remain. Was the ban really about security, or was it also a way to protect domestic startups? Critics argue that the government never released concrete evidence proving TikTok was actively spying on users. Without that, how can citizens trust such decisions? Others counter that in a world where data is power, waiting for proof might be too late. The truth, as always, lies somewhere in between. What is clear is that India took a bold step, one that reshaped the global conversation around data, privacy, and national sovereignty. So what did we learn from the TikTok ban? 1. Data is the new oil, and whoever controls it controls the future. 2. National security now includes cybersecurity, and governments must act accordingly. 3. Tech neutrality is a myth. Every app has a country, and every country has an agenda. 4th, local innovation matters, and India is ready to build its own digital future. Today, TikTok remains banned in India. ByteDance has shifted focus to other markets. Meanwhile, Indian startups continue to grow, albeit with mixed success. The DPDPA is still evolving. Enforcement is ongoing. And the debate over digital sovereignty is far from over. But one thing is certain: the war over data is just beginning, and India has made its stance clear. That's the story of the TikTok ban, a tale of power, privacy, and patriotism, of a nation standing up for its digital rights, of a generation that grew up dancing on screens, only to see those screens go dark. If you found this episode insightful, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment below. We want to hear your thoughts. Was the ban justified, or was it a mistake? And remember, crime may evolve, but justice evolves faster. Because here at Crime Never Forgiven, we don't forget, we don't forgive, we investigate. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and keep questioning.